Hey everyone, we've been talking about strings and string operations lately, and this is an example of string operations. So here's our problem statement. Write a program that will display a student's college courses according to a long string with courses separated by new lines as shown. So here's the long string, and here are the courses as shown there, separated by new lines. The program uses justification to display the data in a neat and organized fashion with three columns: the course number, the title of the course, and the credits. Also displayed is the total credits. So here's the total credits. The total number of credits is 9. All right, so this is our problem, and so let's get started. We will first write a function that does this. We can define our function with any name we want, and let's choose something like print courses, something like that. And we have to decide how we're going to give our function the data. How are we going to process this string? And we're going to try to extract the course numbers separately, and then the course names separately, and then the course credits separately. Maybe we'll put them as lists. So we'll say the names will be or the numbers will be a list. Okay, and then so we're going to give it numbers as a list. We're going to give it the names as a list, and we're going to give it the credits as a list. But I'm not going to actually use credits because credits is actually a reserved word. So we're going to call it creds colon. And I'm actually going to make a comment right away. I'm going to say numbers, names, and creds must be a list. Each must be a list, right? Okay, so that's just the way that I'm going to write my function. You might want to do it in a different way. Now, let's suppose we have these things and we want to display them like shown up here. All right, so we might first want to say print, and then we're going to print my courses, and we're going to use a center justification here. So we're going to print um, my courses in capitalization here, my courses, and we're going to center justify it, center, and we need to decide how many characters we want. Maybe we'll say maybe 10 characters in the left column, maybe 40 characters roughly in the middle column, 10, 50, and then maybe like 4 here. So maybe we'll say 54 total characters in the title, and we will, as shown, we will pad it with this dash like that. Okay, so again, that's going to be 10 characters in the left column, 40 characters in the middle column, and then 4 characters in the right column. All right. Now after that, we don't, we want to be able to make our function robust. So we don't want to just assume there are 3 courses. So we are going to loop over the number of courses. So we will say something like this: for II in range, then the length of one of those lists, numbers, names, or credits. It doesn't matter because they'll have the same length because each course has a name, a number, and a credit. So I'll just put numbers in there for II in range length numbers. Okay, good. And then we're going to say print. All right, what are we going to print? We're going to print the ith course number. So we're going to print numbers II, and then we're going to left justify that. And we said 10 characters, and we'll pad it with white space. Then plus, then we're going to concatenate that with names of the ith name, and we're going to left justify that as well. I'm putting left. That should be L just. Because if I look at my example, these are left justified as well. The P and the A and the S all line up to the left. So left just, and we're going to put 40 characters there because it should be longer because the length of the names is going to be longer than the length of the course number. And we'll pad that with white space. And then we're going to concatenate that with creds, and creds will be a string as well. So we're going to put creds, and we're going to right justify it. Right just, and we said 4 characters, I believe. So that's the 54 total. And we're going to pad that with white space as well. Okay, so it's going to loop, it's going to set II to be 0, and then it'll print, engineering 120, then programming for engineers, because that's the 0th name, and then the 0th creds will be 2, and then it'll set II equal to 1, it'll take the numbers of 1, which will be engineering 387, and then names of 1, which would be analog electronics, and then credits of 1, which will be 4, and so on. All right, now in our loop, we also have to keep track of the number of credits. So I need to sum all of these credits as I'm looping. So I will use a variable, let's say total creds, and I'll initialize it to 0. And then in the loop, I will add these together. So total creds plus equals, and then I'll take creds, the ith creds, but that's going to be a string, right? And so I need to convert that to an int when I add it. So I'll just do that. All right, that should be good. And then outside of the for loop, I'm going to print a new line, right? Because I want a space here between my courses and the total number of credits, and I'll say the total number of credits is, and then I'm going to use an f string here. So I'm going to put an f in front of it, and then I'm going to give it in curly brackets total creds, and yeah, that should be good. All right, and I also might want to put like a backslash and a new line when I print the title of this thing to make a nice gap there. All right, so that should be good for my function. Now I need to parse, and the function's not going to return anything, right? It's just going to do this printing. Now I need to come outside of my function and parse this courses string. So here we go. We're told in the problem that the courses are separated by new lines. So the first thing we might want to do is split by new line. So we'll say course list equals courses dot split. We're going to split it on the new line character. So as we go through this, actually, I'm going to show you what these commands are doing in the console. So I'm just going to enter courses. So courses is now in memory, and so if we split it on the new line, you'll see course list is now this list of those 3, in this case, courses. So the 0th element of the list is engineering 120, programming for engineers 2, okay, and so on. And so we need to parse this even further. We need to extract the number, the name, and the number of credits. So the next thing we should do is we should loop through each item or each course. So we'll say for course in course list, and then we need to extract, okay, or maybe we should split now on white space. So we're going to say how about course dot split on the white space, right? And we'll call that part, maybe part of course or something like that, part of course. So if I split, for example, engineering 120 programming for engineers 2 on white space, it's going to return a list whose first item is engineering 120, second item is programming, third item is 4, fourth item is engineers, and fifth item is 2. So now what I want to do is I want to gather up the name. I'll put the numbers, the names, and the creds. So we'll say numbers equals, and then we'll set it to the empty list, and we'll say names equals empty list, and creds equals the empty list. And now we will append to our list. We'll say numbers dot append. And what are we going to append? We're going to append part of course, the 0th element, or the 0th item, because the 0th item is going to be engineering 120, and that's the course number. That's what we want to append to numbers. And the creds is just as easy. We're going to say creds dot append. And what are we going to append? Part of course, but the last one, right? Because the last one will be 2 in this case, or 4 or 3. Now the tough one is to get the name, because it's going to say programming is going to be, the index 1, 4 is going to be index 2, and engineers is going to be index 3. So what we have to say is we're going to say part, let's see, part of course, and we're going to go from the first element all the way, but not including the last element, like that. Like that. So that would be programming for engineers, and we're going to join those. So dot join, okay, and we're going to append that, or that's what we're going to append to names. Names dot append. Okay, so that shouldn't be too bad. We're just going to take, again, part of course. We're going to start at the first index, which is really the second space, like analog in analog electronics, or signals and systems. We're going to go all the way, but not including the last one. So because the last one is the number of credits. So in signals and systems, it would give us signals and systems. For analog electronics, it would give us analog electronics. For programming for engineers, it would give us programming for engineers. So that's what we're going to append to name, and that should do it. That should extract everything in a list. And then outside of that loop, then we're going to call our function with those lists. All right, and let's have a look. Hopefully, we'll cross our fingers, right? And we'll reset. I don't think I have any bugs there, but let's check it out. I'll run it. List has no attribute join. Oh yes, so this is going to give me a list. So what we want to do is we want to join them on. Okay, we want to join them on the white space. That's right. So we're going to say we're going to join the white space. Dot join, and then we're going to join all of those elements or the items in the list. So that should do it. Names dot append. So we're going to take the names like programming and for and engineers, and then we're going to join them with a white space. That's what we want to do. All right. So let's cross our fingers again. Not clear. All right, and we'll run that. Let's see what we get. Are just. Where are we at? Print numbers. Numbers II. Oh, this should be creds. Creds II. Creds II. Okay. And let's try it again. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I guess this does not look quite right. Did we center 54? I think that looks okay. Looks okay. Maybe we'll put 50. Let's try that. Why is it giving me a? Does it not like the new line? Why is it doing that? Let's try it again. Okay, yeah, there we go. So it just didn't like the new line. I guess I should put 4, and then we should print a new line right here. Print new line right there. Okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna run it again, and there we go. So now we've printed the new line. We printed my courses with the dashes. The numbers have been left justified, right, in the left column. The course names have been left justified in the middle column. The credits have been right justified in the right column, and then we've got the total number of credits is 9. Nice. So again, if I was submitting this, I would find that file string.py in this case, and I would make sure that I comment this. I really didn't comment this for the sake of time, but you see that I've used descriptive variable names and I've blocked off the code nicely. So that's it. Thank you.